Okay, so this is going to be from a TikTok about range fighting. So first, the video that I stitched. Now, as you can see, this guy has like mad range. And he can control this fight with that range. And the little guy does not know how to work around the range. Which is why when you see my video that I stitched, you'll understand. Just letting you see this a little bit. Okay, see how this big white guy controls the range? And this little Asian man is not being able to get in. I mean, he has good fight. I mean, he has heart. He's trying to get there. But the range, he does not how to get to the outside and work around this range. This guy here could be, the big guy, could be the worst fighter. But if he can control the range, he can beat the best fighter. So that's basically what my stitch is going to say. Or at least the two videos that I can't show. Alright, so let's get to the stitch. Alright, so here's the stitch. Yeah, I don't know why it stopped. Okay.
Okay, off the bat, this is going to be a two-parter, maybe more. For context, go watch that. I was actually speaking to a friend about something like this earlier today. Okay, so I've never fought in the ring because I was never given the opportunity, and now that I'm 49 years old, that time has passed. So let's get that straight before anybody brings any smoke to me. That does not mean I cannot throw down with the best of you. It just means that nobody's going to give me a contract at 49 years old to get in the ring and get my ass kicked because I had a hip replacement. It's going to like really hamper how we fight. However, let's live in reality really, really quickly, right? So as you can see, the guy has range and he has height, all right? And that is the only difference maker that I see in this fight. It doesn't show the whole video, it just shows clips of him getting pushed off, the one to the face, the one to the chest, and he goes down. Okay, so this is about the time where all of those tall people would say, see, height and size matters. And this is the part where little guys like me with Napoleon syndrome, which I do not have because I actually like being short, and the bigger you are, the more fun it is for me to bring you down to size. Anyway, he has to find a way to outrange his range. I know, a lot of you are like, what the fuck does that mean? A lot of you are not 49 years old. Alright, so if you are a smaller guy, and a guy has bigger range, you have options. Don't ever think that you don't have options. You're going to be frustrated just like that dude. Yeah, he was frustrated. You can tell he was getting frustrated because he just couldn't get in. Alright, and fights like that, that range was very important because he just could not get in. This is what we call the short man syndrome. For us short people, we have to be more on the defensive end versus the offensive end when it comes to somebody with longer limbs. Now, you're probably not going to like this, and if you're not short, then you probably don't understand. You also probably have not fought shorter people, or you have not had people taller than you actually engage with you in sparring and stuff like that. And this is another reason why I tell people, if you were going to spar with someone in school, try to spar with everybody, because, you know, this is going to improve your range training. And you're all thinking, what the fuck is range training? Alright, if you don't know what range training is, this is why this video is going to have to be really, really long, and I'm probably going to take this damn thing to YouTube.
And here we
are.
Range
training is really simple. Alright, see from my arm straight, that's my range. Whether it's out here, or whether it's out here, or whether it's up here or down here, that is my range. Same thing with my leg. You have to know your range. I'm 5'3". I don't have a lot of range. Everything I do has to get in close so I can actually be effective. Okay? We're definitely going to make a part 2, and I'm taking this shit to YouTube because this is 3 minutes. So hang tight for a second.
Okay, so my other 2 videos, they won't show up. I don't know. I'm probably getting a violation. And if that be the case, then so be it. But we're going to continue from your range training. Alright? So as I pointed out in the other video, you know, your range is everything. And if you don't have control of your range, you're going to be rearranged from the floor to the door. Now I know you're all thinking, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to you because you're probably over 5'7". And the reason why I say that is because you need to understand how your range works. If you have short arms or short legs, you have to work harder while you are in a fight. Where if you have long arms or long legs, the person you are fighting has to work harder to get around your defenses so they can be effective. This goes back to my 70-30 rule. This also goes back to my, if you're 6'2" and below, Kung Fu is the way to go. If you're 6'2" and above, not all martial arts will show you love. Because I give you 6'1" is when you should stop trying to do Kung Fu. Everything else, good for you, because they're range fighting. Where Kung Fu, regardless of style, is generally close combat fighting. And a lot of people are going to give me smoke on that, and to you, I say that's a you problem. Why don't you go fight somebody who's short who does Kung Fu, and then go fight somebody who's tall who does karate, or go fight somebody who's between short and tall who does mixed martial arts, and then you get back with me and let me know how well you handled that shit. In fact, if you can record it and post it, that would be great. Other than that, shut the fuck up. Don't come here talking shit. Because here's the thing. I haven't fought professionally, but I have fought in the streets, and everybody's bigger than me, which goes back to your black belt and your championship belt only means something in the sporting arena. It don't mean shit out in the real world. It don't. Yeah, you're a UFC champion. Congratulations. You're an MMA champion. Congratulations. That does not mean that you can beat every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you bump into on the street. That just means you beat that guy and you got a belt. And everybody celebrates and carries you on their shoulders, and they treat you like you're Jesus. Until you lose in the ring and they've lost like hundreds of dollars betting on you. So, yeah, like I said, that shit only counts in the dojo, in the ring. That's it. In the real world, you have to act like a champ. You have to be presentable, and that's cool and everything, and that's respectful. But if you get into a fight outside of the world, one, it's supposed to be illegal for sports athletes to actually defend themselves. I don't know if that's true, because everything else I've learned over the last few years has not been true, which is a little late now for me to have a dojo. But anyway, the point being made is you don't have to be a 5th-degree black belt to open up a school. Who the fuck knew? And why didn't anybody tell me way back when I was younger and healthy so that I didn't have to take the path that I took? Anyway, the point being made is that your arm, at full extension, that is your range. At full extension, that is your range. At full extension up, at full extension out, side, and down. That is your range for your arm. So you have to understand, if I can get a short jab in, I got to be close enough to you to make this shit effective. If I can get a long jab in, it's probably not going to be strong enough for me to you, depending on your size, which is going to be a problem for me, not for you, unless you have a glass jaw, which is going to be a problem for you and a victory for me, because if I can exploit your weakness, I'm going to do that. Same thing with people who are like 6'6", 6'7", they got to swing down at me. And in that case, that's about the only time the gravity is probably going to be my friend, if I have the correct judo skills and the speed and the knowledge to catch and judo flip the fuck out this shit. And hopefully end that fight quickly by knocking the wind out of them when I slam them on their back. However, there's a counter to everything, and if you aren't taught that, congratulations, I just taught you something. Every move has a counter move. Every move. And if anybody tries to tell you you can't block an uppercut, don't believe that shit, because I was dumb enough to believe that once, and that shit didn't work out, and I found out, yeah, you can block an uppercut. Yeah, don't believe the bullshit. You can block an uppercut. You just got to be able to get the hell out the way and stuff like that. Something's about to go wrong, so I got to make a part 2. Or not. Let me see if I can stop whatever the hell I just did. What is this? I don't know what this is. It's also not moving, so let me hide Chrome and pray that work. If there's like some strange talking, I'm sorry, because it opened up a YouTube thing. Anyway, your range training is very important. My arms are too short to box with a god, so I will use my legs. But if his legs are longer than my legs, I have a problem. So now I have to use my legs to work against his legs plus his arms. I have to be able to get in. If you watch that clip, you will see that the tall white man had range and length over the Asian man. So the Asian guy was getting frustrated because every time he could get near him, the white guy would just push him off. Now, I don't know how that fight ends because the video never shows an ending, but I will tell you that if they're on a point system, the Asian guy probably lost. Because it does like the first round, he gets like just sticking off of him. It's like, boom, bounce him off me, bounce him off me, bounce him off me. And if you're in a point system and you have range, you don't have to knock anybody out. You can just score by tapping them every time. And I don't mean by tapping them out. I mean by just touching them. Bip, I got you. Bip, I got you. Bip, I got you. And you can just hold him until the time runs out. Clink, clink, when the time runs out, all he can do is go back to the corner and be pissed. And now that he's pissed, he has to find a way to get in. And if you just continue the same process over and over and over and over and over and over and over, he's gonna get pissed off even more. And everybody watching is gonna be like, what's with this guy, man? What's with this guy? And to the people who don't understand that, the guy with the range is actually fighting smarter, not harder, while the guy without the range has to fight smarter and harder. And if he can't do both, he's going to lose, which means the guy can just keep pushing him off, pushing him off, pushing him off every time. He doesn't have to nail him. He doesn't have to hit him hard. He just has to hit him hard enough to keep him away, score the point. Keep him away, score the point. Keep him away, score the point, because that was a sporting event. Now, in a street fight, this probably would have went a whole different way, because eventually that little guy would have probably had to find a different way in. And again, I don't know if foot sweeps were allowed. Foot sweeps are very dangerous. I mentioned that in my TikTok video, but TikTok won't post the goddamn video. So you can break somebody's leg in a foot sweep, and you can also have your leg broken if someone foot sweeps you. So you have to be careful on what moves to use in the sporting events versus in the streets. I don't recommend using the foot sweep for anything outside of the movies. That's just me. You don't have to agree with it, but it's just me. Because the foot sweep does make you incredibly vulnerable, especially if it's a spinning back foot sweep versus a front foot sweep versus a front spinning. There's more than one foot sweep. For if you're not a martial artist, there's at least 3 of them that I can name. There's only one of them that I can still do, which is not the spinning back foot sweep. I mean, I probably could do it if I'm getting paid, but, you know, because of my hips, it's not recommended that I do that, you know, because of my hip replacement and all that other bullshit. So I will tell you that, you know, knowing your opponent's range and knowing your range is going to put you in a better spot than not knowing shit. And the thing is, you know, you have to know how to equip their range for your skill set. All right. So if I'm doing kung fu and this guy's like stretching out, reaching, I gotta pull him in. So if I can block and foot sweep, which you can't do in the ring, but you can do in the street. If I can block and like push him to where I can get to him, it's gonna be a different ball game versus what the Asian man was doing, which was getting frustrated because he just couldn't get one in. And when you can't get one in, it does frustrate you when you are in a fighting situation and you just can't hit anybody. It really sucks. And I'm speaking from experience because I had a boxing match with a young man named Corey in Smithfield, and Corey was beating my ass because I'm not a boxer. I'm a street fighter. I'm a martial artist. Boxing is not my strong point. I learned very well that day that I need to learn how to stop boxers and other styles of martial arts, which is why I took martial arts in the first place. It wasn't to get a belt. It wasn't to get glory. It was to make sure that I could beat everybody's ass. Period. If you knew Kung Fu, I knew Kung Fu. If you knew karate, I knew karate. If you knew Taekwondo, I knew Taekwondo. If you knew Karate, if you knew Jiu-Jitsu or Judo or Capoeira, I knew it. You know why? Because I learned how to take that shit and adapt that shit. And I learned how to adapt every other Kung Fu style to those counters of martial arts. Like for Capoeira, if I'm not good at Capoeira, I'll switch to Drunken Master because it's unpredictable. Because Capoeira is essentially swift, you know. And if I can't use freaking Capoeira against Capoeira or Drunken Master, then I'll switch to Wushu. The problem is, Wushu has a lot of flying in it. Capoeira is grounded, but it's also have flying in it. So you have to understand your martial art. Now, this is also where range training comes in, because range training is very fucking important. You have to know the range of your opponent so that you can't outrange his range. Now, I know that sounds really fucked up, but this is my hand. I need to be able to get over here when you're throwing, boom. I need to get over here so that I can snap this elbow by putting one hand here and one hand here, pulling or grabbing both and pulling and pushing. You know, I got to do something to eliminate the threat. But since we're in a sporting arena, I'm not allowed to do that. What I am allowed to do is try to get the hell out of the way so that you don't keep hitting me or kicking me or doing the successful shit that the white dude was doing to the Asian dude. Because that range, he had range. He could push this guy off of him all day. And fighting in arenas and shit, they're sporting events. So you're getting points by every time you make contact with the person. He could knock this guy out without knocking him out. You know, he doesn't have to hit him hard. He just has to keep pushing him off. You know, front kick. You know, jab. Little guy can't reach me. You know, block, block, jab. You know, block, block, jab. I don't even give him range to get in to block, because I have long legs. So if I keep doing that, then I'm good. And I will make a part 2. So be prepared.